You didn't come here for just another trading book. You came here because something inside you knows there's more to a candlestick than just its shape. You've seen it before, countless times, the same red and green bars flickering across your screen over and over again. You've memorized the patterns, you've watched the YouTube tutorials, you've read the names: hammer, shooting star, engulfing, doji. But deep down, you felt something was missing. Because what no one ever told you, what most traders never truly see, is that each candle is more than just price action. It's psychology trapped inside time. A snapshot of fear, a flash of greed, a whisper of hesitation, or a scream of conviction. And one day, without warning, you saw it. That one candle. It looked normal at first, but it felt different. The way it opened, how it danced, how it stalled, and then, boom, it reversed. Not just technically, emotionally. That single bar on that quiet afternoon changed how you looked at the chart forever. Because for the first time, you didn't just see price, you felt the traders behind it. That's when everything began to shift. You stopped asking, "What pattern is this?" and started asking, "Who's in pain here? Who's trapped? Why did they flinch?" This audiobook is about that moment. It's about learning how to see candles not as patterns, but as conversations. Each one tells a story, a battle between buyers and sellers, a reflection of confidence, confusion, and chaos. And once you start reading candles this way, not just with your eyes, but with your instincts, you'll never go back, because you'll know what few traders ever discover. That one candle can tell you everything. You'll hear their fear in the wicks. You'll feel their greed in the breakouts. You'll spot hesitation before it becomes regret. And you'll learn to trust what the market is really saying. This is not a manual. It's a mindset. This is not about setups. It's about sensing. Because the greatest edge in trading isn't found in indicators or systems. It's found in understanding how people behave under pressure, and how that behavior gets recorded, one candle at a time. So take a breath, settle in. Let's slow down and watch the market speak. Because today, you're not just a trader. You're a reader of emotion, a psychologist of price. And it all starts with one candle. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful trading psychology breakdowns every day. Chapter 1. The Candle That Spoke Louder Than Words. You remember it, that one candle, the one that didn't make sense, but told you everything. You were staring at your chart, maybe for the third, fourth, fifth hour that day. You'd seen green bars, red bars, indecision wicks, exhaustion gaps. But this one, it stood out. It wasn't even massive. No crazy wick, no extreme body, just something in the way it formed. And deep down, you felt it. Like a whisper across your subconscious. Pay attention. But let's rewind, because this isn't about one candle. This is about how a single candlestick, in the right context, can reveal the entire psychological state of the market. The fear, the hesitation, the trap, the smart money. It's all there, hidden in the shape, the shadow, the speed. But only if you know how to read it. You weren't always looking at candles like this, were you? No, like everyone, you started with indicators. RSI, MACD, moving averages that promise to show momentum. And every time you thought, this is it, this will be the edge. But they always lagged. By the time the indicator signaled buy, the move was gone. By the time it shouted sell, price had already reversed. Frustration turned into fatigue. Fatigue turned into revenge trading. and you started asking yourself, is this even possible? But then you zoomed in, closer, to the rawest data the market gives you, price itself. No filters, no smoothing, just candlesticks. That's when everything started to change. Because those candles weren't just shapes, they were stories. Every candle is a battle, a war between buyers and sellers, compressed into a single bar of price action. The open is the first shot fired. The wick shows the casualties. The close tells you who won the battle, and most importantly, how hard they had to fight. Once you saw that, you couldn't unsee it. It became addictive. That subtle shift in a wick length, that one bar that closed a few ticks higher than expected. It started revealing everything. The emotional footprints left by traders who were scared, who were trapped, who were desperate. And then it happened. That one candle, the one that told you the market was about to explode, but not in the direction everyone expected. It was a red candle, short, almost neutral, right after a strong green rally. But the context, oh, the context, it screamed something deeper. The volume was higher. The wick on top, a sign of hesitation. It didn't make sense in the trend. It whispered, "Buyers are tired." You listened. While the retail crowd was buying the breakout, you were already preparing to short. Because that candle, that one single formation, told you who was in pain and who was about to feel more. You shorted. The next candle dropped, then the next, then a flush. And your heart was pounding, not from greed, but from recognition. You saw it before it happened. That was the day candlestick psychology became real for you. Not a theory, not a technique, a language. And you realized you don't trade price, you trade emotion, you trade fear, you trade greed. And there's no better X-ray of market emotion than a single candlestick. Let that sink in, because this isn't about learning patterns from a PDF. It's about seeing into the soul of the market. Every candle has a heartbeat, every wick a panic, every close a statement, we gave it our all, and this is what we could do. Most traders ignore this. They look for patterns, names, engulfing, doji, hammer. But they forget to ask, why did that pattern form? Who was in control? Who got hurt? Because that's the truth behind the candle. That's where the edge lives. Not in memorizing shapes, but in reading intent. Let me ask you something. Have you ever chased a green candle and got dumped on the very next bar? You thought it was breakout momentum, but in reality, it was distribution. Smart money letting go of their position into your FOMO. You weren't wrong because the candle was green. You were wrong because you didn't ask who is doing what and why. You didn't listen to the whisper behind the bar. You didn't hear the stress, the bluff, the bait. But now you do. And everything changes when you see a candle not just as a bar, but as a story of power, emotion, and manipulation. That's what this journey is about. Over the next 14 sections, I'm going to show you how to read candles, not just name them. We'll go deep into the psychology behind each type of move. You'll learn how the shape of a wick can reveal desperation, how the close can scream confidence or uncertainty, how one bar, when combined with context, can show you everything. Yes, you'll learn specific candles, but more importantly, you'll learn to think like the traders behind them. You'll get inside the mind of the trapper and the trapped. You'll stop being the last one in and start being the first one out. Because this isn't about more knowledge, it's about more awareness, and it all starts with a single candle. Just like it did for you. Chapter 2. The candle isn't lying, but your mind might be. Let's get one thing straight right now. The candle didn't trick you. It didn't lie. It simply revealed the truth. But your mind, that's what painted over it. Your bias, your hope, your fear, that's what made you blind. You've done it. You've looked at a bullish candle and thought, it's going to explode. You clicked buy, felt the rush, imagined the profit, and then it reversed, hard, right back into your entry, then through it, and you sat there, stunned, confused, angry, like the market faked you out. But it didn't. It showed you exactly what was happening. You just didn't want to believe it. Because you weren't reading the candle, you were reading your expectation. You see, candlesticks are neutral. They don't have ego. They don't care about your position size or your plans. They're just footprints, honest records of action and intent. Buyers pushed here, sellers defended there. That's it. But if you're emotional, those facts become twisted. A red candle near support? You might hope it's a fake out. A wick forming at resistance? You might hope it breaks through. And that hope, that subtle distortion, it poisons your read. You need to look at candles the way a forensic analyst looks at a crime scene. Cold, detached, ruthlessly observant. Not trying to make a story fit your plan, but letting the story write itself. And the story always starts with one candle, one bar that breaks rhythm, one body that closes against the trend, one wick that shouldn't be there, but is. Let's take a real example. Price is trending up, higher highs, higher lows. Momentum is strong. Then suddenly, a green candle forms, but it's smaller. It doesn't close near the high, and the top wick, long, too long. You can almost feel it. The buying pressure is fading. You zoom in, and you realize this isn't just any green candle. It's a warning shot. But if you're greedy, if you're biased, you'll ignore that signal. You'll say, the trend is still up. You'll buy, and the next candle, red, wide, fast, violent. You've just walked into the trap. See, candles don't reverse trends on their own, but they do warn you. They signal exhaustion. They show hesitation. They whisper, something is changing. But you can only hear that whisper if you stop shouting over it with your bias. Let's go deeper. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful trading psychology breakdowns every day. There are 3 things every candle reveals, if you know where to look. Intent, who is trying to take control. Effort, how hard are they pushing. Result, did they succeed? Now read that again. This is where the real edge lives, because most traders only look at result. They say, it closed green, must be bullish. But that's surface-level thinking. If buyers pushed all day, and it still closed near the open, that's weakness with no result. That's weakness. Let's break it down further. Imagine this. You're watching a green candle form. It starts small, then stretches higher. You feel the excitement rise, but suddenly it stalls. The top gets hit. A wick forms. Then it starts to pull back, slowly but surely. By the time it closes, it's still green, but not much. Maybe half the body is gone. Maybe a huge upper wick is left behind. Now ask yourself, who had intent? The buyers. Who showed effort? The buyers again. But what was the result? Weak. That's where the psychology kicks in. Because that kind of candle tells you this. Buyers tried to run it up, but there was heavy selling up there. Someone bigger stepped in. Someone who doesn't care about retail dreams. And if you're paying attention, you won't just see the candle. You'll feel the emotion behind it. You'll sense the frustration of trapped longs. You'll smell the fear in their hesitation. And you'll realize you don't want to be one of them. Now flip it. Same idea, but in reverse. A red candle forms. It opens high. Sellers slam it down. It drops fast, closes near the bottom. No lower wick, just pure momentum. Intent, sellers. Effort, high. Result, dominant. That's the kind of candle that doesn't just hint, it shouts. You don't have to know the name of that candle. You don't have to say, that's a bearish engulfing, or that's a Marabuzu. You just need to know what it means. Because names are just labels, but meaning is everything. And meaning comes from context. That's where most traders fail. They isolate the candle. They ignore what came before. They don't ask, is this candle breaking structure? Is it rejecting a level? Is it forming at a key time of day? Is it being followed by confirmation or rejection? A candle means nothing in isolation, but in context, it can scream, it can roar, it can shake you awake if you're listening. So here's your mission. Stop labeling, start listening. Forget the names, learn the language. Every day you sit at your screen, you're watching a war unfold. Buyers attacking, sellers defending, exhaustion, traps, breakouts, reversals, and every candle is a live broadcast of that battle, unedited, unfiltered, unforgiving. Your job is to become the interpreter, not the predictor, not the gambler, the interpreter. Because when you stop forcing candles to tell you what you want to hear, they'll start showing you what you need to know. Chapter 3. The trap is set before you even click buy. You didn't lose on that trade because the candle was wrong. You lost because someone wanted you to believe it was right, for just long enough. Let's talk about traps. Because if you're a retail trader, you've been caught in them more times than you can count. You know the feeling. A strong green candle breaks through resistance. Your pulse jumps. This is it. This is the breakout. You enter. The next candle is weak, then red, then a total collapse. You stare at your screen, shocked, frozen. You just bought the top again. But here's the thing. That candle didn't trap you. You trapped yourself by only seeing what you wanted to see. And the smart money, they counted on that. Because candles are more than signals. They are weapons. And if you don't understand how they're used, you become the victim. Let me paint the picture clearly for you. There's a level. It's been tested 3 times. Everyone sees it. Your favorite YouTuber drew the same resistance zone. Traders are lined up, waiting for the breakout. Then suddenly, boom, a huge green candle rips through the level. Volume spikes, the chat rooms go wild. You feel the FOMO grip your spine. And you enter, right at the top, right at the place where smart money was waiting to unload. Because they needed someone to sell to. They needed you. And that candle, that one green bar, it wasn't the start of a breakout. It was the bait. This is candlestick psychology in its rawest form. Because that one candle, that trap candle, it wasn't meant to follow through. It was meant to trigger emotion, excitement, greed, and most importantly, urgency. Smart money doesn't chase. They create the illusion of momentum. They paint that candle with enough force to drag you in. They want you to feel like you're missing something, like you have to act right now. Because they know if you feel that urgency, you'll skip your rules, you'll skip logic, you'll jump in emotionally. And once you're in, they're out. The candle wasn't a lie. It was a psychological setup. Now you might be asking, how do I know the difference between a real breakout and a trap? That's where the deeper layers of candlestick psychology come in. And it all comes down to this. Who's really in control? And what are they trying to make you feel? Let me give you a tool, a mental checklist to run when you see a strong candle at a key level. Was it too perfect? If everyone sees the level,
So does smart money. They know retail traders are watching for confirmation. That's when traps are most likely to appear. Was there a buildup? Did price slowly grind into the level, forming a base? Or did it explode upward with no pause? Strong trends often pause before breaking out. Traps, though, they explode fast because they want urgency, not structure. What did the next candle do? This is critical. A real breakout usually continues or consolidates. A trap? It reverses instantly or gives back half the move. That's your cue. What's the volume saying? If the breakout candle has a volume spike, but is followed by low participation, be cautious. That's often a clue that large players exited into your entry. Now, let's go one step deeper, because this isn't just about avoiding traps. It's about learning to spot who's trapped. And this is where your edge becomes lethal. When you identify where retail traders got in emotionally, you can start predicting where they'll exit in panic. Because what follows a trap candle is often the real move, not the fake breakout, but the sharp flush after the breakout fails. And you can ride that wave. You can short where they bought. You can profit off their emotional liquidation, but only if you read the candle correctly. Let's go back. You see a large green candle break a resistance. The close is strong, but something feels off. The speed of the move was too fast. The wick at the top is long. You check the context and realize this level has been rejected multiple times, and now suddenly, in one candle, it's supposed to break? You wait. The next candle opens and immediately pulls back. No follow-through, no momentum. Volume dries up. You don't buy. You prepare to short. Because now you're seeing it. Not just the shape of the candle, but the intent behind it. And when that move collapses, you're not the one panicking. You're the one profiting from the panic. Let this sink in. A trap candle isn't just a failed breakout. It's a psychological setup designed to transfer money from the impatient to the prepared. This is the game, and it's all played out one candle at a time. You have to stop thinking like a prey. Stop reacting. Start anticipating. Candlestick psychology isn't about predicting the future. It's about recognizing the present behavior of others. It's about feeling what other traders are feeling and doing the opposite. Because if you ever want to win in this game, you need to think like the trapper, not the trapped. And that starts with watching candles, not just for their direction, but for their deception. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful trading psychology breakdowns every day.
Chapter 4. The real reason you chase candles you shouldn't. Let's be honest now. You don't chase candles because they make logical sense. You chase them because they make you feel something. Excited, hopeful, desperate. You see that one green bar pushing higher, and something in you says, I can't miss this one. This is the move. So you click. Fast, almost automatic. And for a few seconds, you feel relief, even triumph. But then it starts to stall. A red bar forms. It eats half the move. Now you're not excited. You're terrified. You didn't just enter a trade. You stepped into an emotional war you weren't prepared for. And that's what most traders never admit. They think they're chasing momentum, but really, they're chasing a feeling. The feeling of finally being right. The feeling of catching what they missed yesterday. The feeling of getting it back after a loss. That's not strategy. That's emotional compulsion. That's how losing trades become spirals.
Here's what makes it worse. Candles are seductive. A strong, bullish candle at the top of a move, it looks invincible, like the market is screaming, "Get in now or be left behind." But beneath that candle is exhaustion, late buyers, retail panic entries, and just out of frame, smart money getting ready to exit. You're not just buying the candle, you're buying the emotions of everyone else who's just as reactive. And guess what happens when the music stops? Someone's left holding the bag. Usually, it's you. But you already know this, don't you? You've lived it. That rush of entering high. The drop. The freeze. The hope that it'll bounce. Then the stop out. Then the frustration. You swear you'll never do it again, until the next candle makes you feel that same thing. Let's slow down right here. Let's dissect the real reason you chase candles you shouldn't. It's not the chart, it's not the pattern, it's the internal narrative. That little voice that says, "This is the one, I'll be smart this time." Or, "If I don't take this, I'll miss the whole move." Or, "I'll just grab a few quick points, no big deal." Or, "Last time I waited, I missed out. I won't make that mistake again." Do you hear the common thread? Fear. The fear of missing out, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being too slow. And all those fears are triggered by one candle. Not a dozen, not a full setup, just a single seductive bar that seems to say, "Come on in, everyone else is." But that's the trap. Not just the technical one, the psychological one. And the deeper truth? The more pain you felt recently, the more likely you are to fall for it. If you're on a losing streak, you'll chase to get even. If you've missed multiple good trades, you'll chase to prove you're not behind. If you're afraid of looking stupid, you'll chase to avoid sitting out. And all that emotion, all that pressure, makes you blind to what the candle is really saying. You stop asking the important questions. Why is this candle forming here? Who is likely buying into this move? Is there structure beneath it, or just hope? Is this follow-through, or bait? You stop interpreting. You start reacting. And that's where your power dies. Because once you start reacting to candles instead of reading them, you become predictable. And in the markets, predictable means profitable for someone else. Let me give you a cold, hard truth. Every time you chase a candle with no plan, you're someone else's exit liquidity. They needed you to feel what you felt. They needed you to click where you clicked. And when you did, you gave them the exit they were waiting for. You gave them your loss as their win. This is why understanding candlestick psychology is more than just being technical. It's about breaking the loop, the emotional cycle that pulls you in over and over again. And you don't break the loop by reading more books. You break it by building emotional awareness. Let's build that right now. Here's a question to burn into your brain. Am I entering this candle because it's logical, or because I feel like I have to? If it's urgency, walk away. If it's revenge, walk away. If it's a desperate grab for validation, walk away. You want to become a professional? You need to trade like a pro. Pros don't chase. Pros don't react. Pros don't buy candles. They buy situations. Situations where the context supports the candle, where structure supports the move, where trap mechanics are visible, where the psychology makes sense. The candle isn't the decision, it's the confirmation. And if it doesn't confirm the bigger story,
then it's just noise, just bait. You want to trade clean? Start thinking like a trapper, not the trapped. Start seeing every candle not as an invitation, but as a test. Do you understand the story being told here? Do you know who's behind this move and why? Can you wait for clarity, even when your emotions are screaming? That's what separates winners from chasers. You already have the skill to spot the candle. Now build the control to resist the urge. Because the moment you stop chasing every candle that feels good is the moment you start trading with real power. Conclusion. So here you are at the end of the book, but not the end of the journey. Not even close. Because now everything you see is different. You don't look at charts the same way anymore. You don't see green and red. You don't chase patterns or force trades. You listen. You observe. You feel the market breathing one candle at a time. And most importantly, you understand what's really going on. The long wick isn't just a technical detail. It's doubt. The sudden reversal isn't random. It's fear. The slow grind upward? That's hesitation, battling with hope. You've stepped behind the curtain. You've heard the story each candle tells. You now know how to read price like a psychologist, how to spot panic before the chart even finishes drawing, how to trade the emotion, not just the motion. And that's what separates amateurs from professionals. Not tools, not fancy software, but emotional fluency. The ability to ask, who's trapped? Who's confident? Who's about to break? Because if you can answer that, you'll know when to strike, and more importantly, when to wait. So when that next candle forms, when it starts moving with hesitation or force or deception, you'll lean in, not with panic, not with doubt, but with calm focus, because now you speak the language. You've learned that one candle can show you everything, where the pain is, where the opportunity hides, where the crowd is blind, and where you can see clearly. So take that knowledge with you, carry it into every trade, let it become part of your process, part of your instinct. And the next time you hesitate on the trigger, the next time the chart looks noisy or confusing, don't rush. Breathe, zoom in, and listen for the truth inside the candle. Because now you know the market always tells you the story, one bar at a time, one moment at a time. And sometimes all it takes is just one candle.